Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So in the last video, we got the depth of market working. You should see something similar to what I've got here. Now, if you prefer having it within the gray console, then that's fine. I showed you how to do that in the last video. Personally, I would recommend you have it detached, or for now, with just a few windows, it's fine to have it within the gray console. But as we add more things, you'll probably find it easier to have it all detached. It just gives you a little bit more flexibility. Entirely your choice, but as I personally keep all my windows detached, that is how I will be doing all the videos moving forward throughout the program. However, if you have yours within the gray console, no issue. Pretty much everything I'm going to show you in this video works exactly the same way in both circumstances, detached like I have it here or not. So first thing we're going to do is just resize the windows so they fit nicely within your screen. You can see me doing that here. I won't bother wasting your time by making you watch me do the whole thing. I'm just going to move straight to what I've already done. Okay, so I left a little bit of space on the left just so you can see me here. But of course, you can use your entire screen if you prefer. Can you see? Everything is all a little bit stretched. So we're going to clean all of that up together. Now, first thing I like to do, I'm going to squeeze the depth of market rows. Now, very important, it should already be set like this. As default, always make sure that when you right click on the price, this is set to interactive scale move, and this is set to scale range, constant range. It just keeps things nice and neat. Same for both the depth of market and the chart. Should already be like that by default, but just make sure it is. Now, to squeeze the depth of market rows, there's two easy ways to do this. Press Control on your keyboard and drag the price up or down from the middle with the left button on your mouse. When you let go of Control, it will just move it up and down without the squeeze. Exactly the same on the chart. When you hit Control, squeezes. When you let go, doesn't. Now, if that doesn't work for any reason, then you can also right click on the prices, change this to interactive scale range, then do the same. Just play around with it till you're happy. Very important. If you did it this way, when you finish, just make sure this is set back, interactive scale, move. Just going to repeat that. Just make sure this is set back, interactive scale, move. This just fixes it so you can move the row up and down easily whilst you are observing or trading without squeezing them. Now do the same for all the windows, including the chart like I am doing here, till you're happy. Again, just make sure that when you're finished, this is always set to interactive scale move and scale range, constant range. Now, a quick way to just center everything is to double click anywhere on the prices and it centers the rows like so. So they're now all aligned. This is particularly helpful if price starts to go off the screen as the market trades. Double click and it brings it back to the center. Also, just aligns all of them nicely with each other. Double click, double click, double click, all nicely aligned. Next, you can clear the market orders by right clicking anywhere within the two middle market order columns and press clear recent bid ask volume. Now we can set a keyboard shortcut for this, but there's no point. As I said, we're not going to spend too much time using the depth of market. I'm just going to get you to do a few short exercises to make sure you understand aggressive versus passive orders and how the profile you see here is formed, and then we'll move on to the footprint anyway. But for now, I just want to get you familiar with a few basic functions, as it will just start to get you used to using Sierra Chart, which will of course be very helpful for you as we start to build it up moving through the program. So next, the text size on the depth of market. Mine looks quite neat. Yours might be a little bit off. I'm going to show you how to easily change the text size in all four places. If yours looks okay and you're happy with it, of course, leave it. But obviously, I'll just give you the options, which also gets you familiar with where to find things. Now, let's start with the profile on the outside. Don't forget, we are going to cover the profile in another video in detail. For now, let's just make sure it looks nice and neat. So what you do is you click on chart, then studies, move the window completely to the side. You should see just one study here called volume by price or VBP. Select it and click on settings, then click on subgraphs. And can you see volume, numbers, text, color, and size? Click on it. That is the font size for the profile. It's currently set to 14. You can play around with it, hit apply just to see what it looks like. See how I made mine much smaller. However, 14 works for my screen, so I'm just going to leave it there. Then when you're happy, click OK and then OK again. Now, apart from the profile, which we just changed, all the other font sizes are all in the same place. Go back to chart. This time click graphics, settings. Again, move the window to the side. Make sure use global graphic settings is not ticked. Click on fonts, then press chart text, then select. Okay, as you can see, it gives you plenty of options. If I reduce the font size to 8, hit apply, and you see it reduced the price font size. I prefer 12, so I'll revert back to that. For all the other 4 columns in the middle, you simply select DOM, quantities, sizes, again select, and the same process. So I'm going to change it to 8. You can see how the middle 4 columns changed. Again, I will revert back to 12 as that works for me. Don't spend more than a few minutes on this. Either it's already fine, in which case do nothing, or you'll change it once and you'll be done. Just make sure that once you've made your changes, you go to the gray console and hit File, then Save. Very important. Next, let's just make sure you're happy with the chart. Depth of market, I wouldn't worry about customizing too much because you're not going to be using it long term anyway. But the chart is something good to just get used to in terms of knowing where things are, as you are going to be using charts extensively as we move order flow onto the charts later in the program. Let's start to just have a look at some basics, but we'll do lots more as we go along. So again, let's just start with text size for our chart. The same thing, you go to chart, graphic settings chart, move the window to the side. Now you can do this globally and have the settings apply to every chart within your chart book, but I would suggest don't do that. Personally, I prefer the flexibility and simplicity of just customizing each chart individually. So just make sure that is not ticked. Now there's a ton of options, but making changes is really straightforward once you get used to it. Like I said, best platform on the planet. Customization options, they're just out of this world. But if it doesn't interest you, leave it. It's not important for your trading after all. So for now, just do the basics. Like I said before, I've done everything for you already. It's just if you like playing about with things and you're curious, or you just want to make some minor tweaks, I'm just going to get you started. Do as little or as much as you like. Just please don't spend too much time on it right now. You'll have plenty of time later on. My point is, you can go through the list and mess about with as many or as little as you want. My suggestion, don't do any of that now. Let's just keep it very basic. You can experiment later. So the only one really that you should need for now is chart text. This option here is the color, currently set to black. What you're likely more interested in is the font size. So you click on fonts and can you see chart text at the top? Click select and you have a ton of options here. If I change the size to 11, click apply, and you see it made the font size on my chart bigger. Now I'm just going to put it back to 9 because that is what I prefer. Again, if you make any changes, just remember, go back to the gray console, click file, then save. Now a few basics on your chart, just so we can get it looking how you prefer. I've kept it as a 1 minute time frame for now. I would suggest keeping it the same so we're all on the same page, but the setting can be found by clicking chart, chart settings, move the window to the side, click on bar, period, value, and can you see it says 1 there? That is minutes. You can change that to any number you like, then hit OK. I am going to leave it as 1 for now. You can also change the candlestick type here. Next to graph, draw type, it has tons of options. For now, just leave it as candlestick bars. Next, lock fill space. Now this is something you might want to change. The gap between the last candle and the edge of your chart. Now, when you scroll your mouse wheel, it should move the chart, or you can use the little gray bar at the bottom. Point is, when you do that, the gap between the last bar on the chart and the edge is fixed in that position. If you want to change that, click on Chart, uncheck Lock Fill Space, then scroll your mouse wheel, and you see it allows you to change the gap between the last candle and the edge. If your mouse scroll doesn't work, you can also use the little arrows at the bottom, which does the same thing. So if you like a small gap, you can change it like so, using your mouse scroll or the arrows at the bottom, and go back and click Lock Fill Space, so it locks it in that new position. You will now see it just keeps it there. I prefer a little gap personally, I will do that. And as you can see, that gap is fixed, okay? Next, the axis on the chart. We already adjusted the y-axis. If you remember, you can either hold Control and move it up and down, or if that doesn't work, right click on the y-axis, change this to interactive scale range, and then just drag this up and down as you prefer. Once you're happy, very, very important, set this back to interactive scale move and make sure that is on scale range, constant range. That will keep things nice and fixed if you want to move the axis up and down without squeezing it. Same thing you did with the depth of market. Bottom axis, if you want to squeeze it, just drag the bottom where the price is to the left and right till you're happy and move it without squeezing. You can use the gray bar or the scroll on your mouse. Now, one handy thing I use a lot, same way as you double click on the depth of market price to center it, you can double click on the chart price to do the same, like so. So I double click here and it just centers it. I use that a lot. So all of the above things we just covered, get your chart pretty much the way you want it. Just play around with it as I'm doing here. You can change the colors here, chart, graph settings, chart, and you can see these 4 candlestick options. It will let you change the colors. Very straightforward. I won't bother doing that with you. I would suggest don't bother with it now, or if you have to, spend no more than a few minutes messing about, because this is not the long-term setup you'll be using. You'll have to change everything again later anyway. Just do the basics, make sure it looks a little bit neat like I have here. See you in the next video.